We're heading into the final days of campaigning for the May 7th Senedd elections, and My Town Media has met the main local parties and independent candidates vying for your vote. We've put 5 key issues to them, so you have the chance to hear from them direct. And this is the third of 5 reports showing their responses. And despite immigration being an issue not devolved to Wales, it still seems to be a hot topic on the minds of voters.
I think the nation sanctuary has been a great error, because it's created a nation of anxiety. It's created anxiety for people where there was no need for it to be in the first place. We are all within the UK, with the controls in Westminster. But what concerns me now more than any time before, it's not the immigration, it's the emigration. I was talking to somebody on Friday, a Polish family who've been here for 20 years, moving back to Poland. And that is a concern. And it's not because that they feel threatened, it's because they feel that we're actually heading towards communism, which really took me back, that they can see far more opportunities in Poland than they can here. And we're also losing our young people because a brain drain, because there's no work here. So the only immigration we see in Wales, basically, are people moving over from England to retire. That does put a strain on our social services. It does raise the price of houses for young people also. And that is a knock-on effect, probably, from illegal immigration or immigration. So immigration has to be controlled. But it's our neighbours who are being affected worse. And I don't think we should be interfering as much as we have done by the Senedd in the past year.
Well, it does come up on the doorstep. I don't deny that. And there are some parties, particularly on the right, who are banging on about small boats or about illegal immigration every single day. I mean, I would say the biggest problem in rural Wales, in mid Wales, facing us is not immigration, but emigration. We are losing thousands and thousands of young people across that border every single year because there aren't job prospects, aren't the opportunities for our young people to stay and make a life for themselves here. So if you're asking my view on immigration, that's what I'm razor focused on, is ensuring that we can provide opportunities for our young people to stay and thrive in mid Wales.
In simple terms, it's not a devolved matter. It has no bearing whatsoever, no relation to this Senedd election. And it's very important that people realise that. The other thing is also in terms of the nation sanctuary, people flag that up at times. The reality is that was established specifically to support Ukrainian families that came to Wales. So many people supported those who were doing the strife with Russia, and 91% of that fund has gone out. So that's the reality of where we are. It's an UK government matter, and when the UK government elections in 2029 or whenever, that's when the focus needs to be on those issues.
Well, Plaid Cymru and Labour are together on that issue, as with so many other issues. But there is a sensible middle ground, and Conservatives occupy that sensible middle ground. Immigration is a non-devolved issue, so Welsh Government does not need to spend any money on that at all. UK Government will sort that out, and we must leave it to them. And it sends wrong messages as well. Public services in mid Wales are quite fragile, and we need every penny spent on our local residents and leave the immigration issue to the UK government. But the UK government must get a grip on this, and I know there was a strong policy before, with the Rwanda, and it's a real shame that Labour government did not continue with that, because we need that deterrent to stop people crossing the channel. Because the people are putting their lives at risk, and it's costing the nation a huge amount of money.
I like to treat everyone with respect and be friendly, but I'm also a put my own oxygen mask on first kind of a person. And I think you have to help yourself and those that live locally to you first. And once you've done that, we support everyone where we can. So my priority is always going to be the people that live in Gwynedd Maldwyn, the people that live in Wales, and the wider area of Great Britain as well. And once we have the infrastructure and the facilities and the quality of life there for those people, then I think we can start sort of supporting refugees and immigrants better and increase sort of their quality of life as well. But the priority for me is those that live here and work here already.
Obviously, it's not a devolved issue. It is decided by Westminster, but as you say, it's coming up on the doorstep. It's coming up at hustings, and it's something people are concerned about. And reform, I think, capitalise on this to their advantage. But I think, when you look at the issues in this country, it's the cost of living, it's issues with the NHS that are not caused by immigration, quite frankly. And I think if we can make the material condition of people better, that will solve a lot of the problems. Quite frankly, immigrants are not taking all the jobs, they're not taking up all the hospital beds. These are falsehoods perpetrated by the far right. We need a fair but firm immigration system, but we also need one that's open to people fleeing war, famine, persecution, like people fleeing Ukraine over the last few years. So we need to welcome people with open arms. Compassion doesn't just extend to our own people, it can extend to everybody. Compassion doesn't have to have limitations, but we need to make sure that we are improving people's material conditions. That is the most important thing, because the difficulty of the cost of living is what's allowing, I think, reform and other far-right figures to take advantage and blame other people, not blaming the billionaires and the multimillionaires who aren't paying enough tax, aren't treating this country fairly, are fleeing to Dubai and then requesting to come back at taxpayers' expense. Those are the truth is the class struggle is more important than the struggle with immigration, in my opinion, so we need to shift the conversation completely.
I would love for us to talk about immigration in a realistic and compassionate way. There are vast numbers of refugees that are scapegoated for all sorts of social problems that are nothing to do with them. Our Green Party stance is that we need to build a place of welcome and sanctuary so that people who are fleeing from strife of any kind, whether it is issues related to war, to the climate emergency, whatever it is, that they have a safe place that they can come and be welcomed. As the Green Party, we'd also like to review how Brexit has gone and what opportunities there might be to build better relationships with the EU. We all know that some of our services, such as the NHS, have suffered because we've lost very expert members of staff that we desperately need back to support us in having an adequate healthcare system, just to mention one. So yes, let's bring immigration back on the table in a way that is welcoming and compassionate.
It's a massive concern here in Mid Wales. Although immigration isn't devolved to the Senedd, it is a big concern. Only last year in September, I done a speech on Broad Street, which I was expecting maybe 100, 200 people to turn up. We had 2,000 people turn up to come and support that, and people were all very enthusiastic about what I had to say. We had an opposition group on High Street, which mustered a total of 70 people. Most of them were paid protesters, unfortunately. Our current MP was one of those in opposition to what I had to say, which is fair enough. But yes, it is definitely a concern. We're seeing people moving into the area by stealth at night, particularly in Newtown, Raider, which is obviously outside of our area, but Llanidloes as well. And it is a concern of many residents.
So we shouldn't have any illegal immigration in this country. And the current Labour government has failed to get this under control. And in fairness, the last Conservative government also did not tackle this adequately as well. Of course, this issue is not one for the Senedd elections. I can understand why some parties might want to make it about that, but the Senedd has no control over immigration. And of course, this will be a hot issue ahead of the next general election.